Hi catty humans, and welcome back to a new tutorial. This video is the part 2 of the Audioreactive flexible tool, and in this video we will upgrade it to be able to manage more parameters. So this is where we left with the last video, and now we will need to upgrade it to be able to have multiple parameters that are Audioreactive linked to different parts of the audio. To do that, first of all we want to add these parameters that we want to control, and in this case let's say we want to also control the grid size, and it's gonna be a menu. And here again we need to copy the same menu names and menu labels, because the menu from which we are choosing would be the same as the last time. Now I'm using just low, mid, highs from the audio analysis, but you can use any parameters you want, maybe the snare, the rhythm, the kick. If you have a beat detector, you could also link the beat. Okay, so right now I still have my size that's linked and is controlling the size of the rectangles, and this grid size where we can choose from the same menu, but that is not doing anything right now. So now we want our parameter DAT to be updated to also have the grid size as parameters. And obviously in this tutorial we will just use 2 parameters, but the same is working the same if you have 5 or whatever. So I'm adding all the new parameters to the parameter DAT, so we are seeing what's happening for all of them. So you could see it's updating. And now to the tricky part. This is probably not the most optimized way to do it, but is the easiest I found for myself, so I will show you that. If you have a suggestion to do it in a smarter way, I'm really happy to hear you in the comments. So I'm placing a table that we will compile manually. Here we are, and that table I'm gonna rename it for keep it tidy, is the dest table. So it's the table that will contain the destination's address of our references. So it's gonna be rectangle1.par.sizex, and this is the first one. Really important here is that we want our destination table to be in the same order as we have the parameter listed in the parameter operator. So that's the only thing to keep in mind. And for the grid size, I want to control the grid columns or rows, whatever. And just for fun, let's say, I want to control a random number extractor that we have seen multiple times in the last videos, and trigger it with the trigger based on the music, so probably with the kick or the snare. So I'm going to add those to our menu. I will add here kick and snare, and same here. Okay, it automatically updated. Great. So now we should have those here. Yeah, beautiful. So I want to use the kick or the snare, and we will be able to choose to trigger the random number extractor, and we will set it to integer, and we want it from 3 to 12. Sounds okay, but we will use it automatically triggered. So for now I'm linking it to the columns, let's say. Since it's not on auto, it needs the trigger to work. So in this case, when I want to set my destination table, I want actually to set it to this trigger. So I will need to add a new line here. So add below, because we need to follow the same order as the parameters component. And I want to set it to random numbers extractor 1. I'm always so bad with names. This number extractor, it's so unpleasant to say. And we want it to set to our par.trigger, not trigger. Here we have it. So our destination table is ready. If we have more parameters that we want to be audio reactive but in a flexible way, we will add it in the custom parameter and then add the address of those in the destination table. So last thing, we need to update our code, because we actually want to check for all the names of the menus or for all the parameters, then check for all the destinations, because here we add the destination already set in the code. This time we don't know how many destinations are there, so we need to check those in the destination tables. Then compile our parameter expressions for each of it and assign to the corresponding destination table address. So this is clearly calling for a for loop. So we want to check each, and now are just two, but we want to check for each parameters that is set in the parameters component. So if we add 3 or 4 or 5, we need to know that, so we can scroll through that list. And to know that, we will set a variable, let's call it high. Let's set high to parameter, so this table. So parameter 1 dot num rows. And to check it, let's really quickly set a print I. Let's double our TouchDesigner window and set the second one to textport. Let's run our code, and let's do that by triggering this with the changing the constant, and we have an error. Oh yeah, clearly, because I didn't set here, sorry, operator. Okay, so once again, let's trigger it by changing it. Okay, and now we have our I printed, so the answer is 2. We have two rows in the parameter table. So once we are good with it, and we know we don't longer need it, we can just erase it or add the little hashtag that will say to the code, don't run this specific line when the code is running. So now it's time for the for loop. So we want that for A, that is an arbitrary variable, and A wants to run in range E. So whatever, oh sorry, not E but I, whatever I is long, in this case 2, we want to run the for loop 2 times. And what we want to do for each value of I, we want first of all to gather this little name as we did in part 1, but this time we want to do multiple times. So we want to know what's written in here. So to do that, we want to set it, and let's call it par. Let's make it clearer. So we want to gather the audio parameter, and the audio parameter is gonna be in operator parameter 1. Sorry, I always have my keyboard a little messy. And as we did last time, we want to reference this cell, and this cell is gonna be always in column 1, but the number will change. So we want to run it in row A. So the first time is gonna run for the row 0, the second time is gonna run for row 1 till we reach high, and we want to get the value inside of it. Now we want to gather where we want it to be assigned, so to get our destination table addresses. So again, let's call it par destination string, and this destination string, it's gonna be, let's leave it a little bit of space, it's gonna be whatever it's in operator dest table. That's how we call our dest table. Sorry, I need more space to make it all visible. Okay, let's do it like that. Beautiful. Whatever is in our destination table. Same way, we want to scroll each row each time we go through the for loop. So I'm gonna use A, and this time is the 0 column. So same identical logic here, and we want to get it through val. So we want the value of whatever cell in this table. Let's try print the par dest string we just gathered. Let's open our parameters. Okay, let's run it. Yeah, and you can see we got the destination strings, so whatever is written in this table. So the problem here, I used to struggle with it a bit, is that right now this is literally a string. Like it's just text. It could be written whatever inside of it is just a string, like TouchDesigner or Python, I think in this case, is not evaluating what is inside of it. So it doesn't recognize that this is like a reference, an address of a parameter inside of an operator. This could be whatever, your favorite song lyrics, for what he knows. It doesn't care what is written inside. It just knows that is this string. So we need like Python to care of what is written inside. To make him care, make it, I guess, to make it care about what it's actually written inside and consider what it is, so that it recognize it's an actual address for an operator, for a parameter in an operator. We need it to make it evaluate it. So this is why I use the parameter dest string, because it's just a string, it's just text. Now we need to get the real parameter destination, and to do that we need it to do eval, so evaluate what's in it. So evaluate parameter dest string. And now if you print parameter dest, so the actual parameter destination, and run it, sorry, make me clear it, okay, and run it, you will now see for each time that we run the loop. So first time we firstly print parameter destination string, so just the text. Python, TouchDesigner, whoever doesn't know what this is. The second time it evaluates it, so he actually goes to rectangle 1 size x and check it, and in the moment we run the code, that was the value that he found in this address. So that tells us that it actually evaluated what this text meant, understood that was referencing this cell, and gave us back the result in it. Same thing, the second time we run the for loop, we got it firstly just the string of the address, this address of the operator we were checking, and when we evaluated it, it understood that we were referencing this parameter inside the operator, checked inside of it, and understood it was false because it was not triggered at the time. So great, now we are doing exactly what we want, because the address is not just text, it's an actual address, and we need TouchDesigner to know it. So we can like comment hashtag all this print, so we are not using anymore because we already checked it's working. And now the final part, we need to compose our string, and this time it's an actual string that will be written inside of all these parameters. So our parameter expression that we want to be written would be, and I open the upper double commas to signal it's a string, it's just text. So our text would be operator in 1, because this is where we're gonna get our audio references. So in 1, oh sorry, also this need the little comma, upper comma, still don't know what it's called. We need to open a bracket, and here it's a bit tricky because this is the first part of our text. We will close the double commas. Here we need to add audio par. So now we are telling Python to write literally op parenthesis upper comma in1 upper comma closed parentheses open brackets and stop. Here we need to add our audio par, our audio parameters, and it knows it because we gather it before from here. So you need to add mid or snare or whatever is inside audio parameter, and then start again with the string, and we just need to close, hopefully, to close our bracket. Here we are. So we compose this string that is made of this part plus the audio parameter, so whatever is here, and close brackets. And now the final step, we just need to assign to our parameter destination, and we need to assign it to this string. So really easy, parameter destination dot exp. So into the expression of the parameter destination, we want to set the string, the parameter exp. That's it. Actually, I'm gonna put it here because it's clearer for me. So let's set it to high, and now we should have, yeah, parameter size x is linked to the high from the music, and the trigger is linked to the snare. If I change this, to... Oh, okay, we need to fix this thing still. What is happening that right now all our code is correct. The only thing that this CHOPexecute, the node that is containing all our code, maybe we can clear it up by erasing the hashtags that we no longer need. Little OCD moment. Right now this is run each time this constant for change, but the constant is just listening to the size, so it's not updating when we change the grid. Instead, we want the code to be run each time any of it gets changed. So to do that, since we're already gathering this parameter in the parameter node, is to transform this parameter into a chop. So we get the dat to chop, and this will just update each time we change it. Edit null just to have things more tidy, and just reference this null as the chop whose value change will trigger the execute, and we can erase this constant. And that's it. So now each time any of those is changed, the code will be run and this will be updated, and that's it. So if you want to have more parameters to be set to different audio parameters, you will need to add those in the custom parameters with their corresponding menu, and add their address where you want to actually change those in the destination table. And that's it. I hope this was helpful, and especially it was clear if you are new to Python. Let me know if you have any doubts or any comments or feedback in the comments. I'm always really happy to read all of them. And till the next time, stay creative. Bye!